Welcome to the Fall 2026 Housing Town Hall Meeting. Welcome. I'm Dr. Douglas Gwynn, Director of the Office of Residence Life and Housing, and we just thought it would be good to take some time to refresh on the process for returning students as well as help our new students get a jump on the process and how the housing system works so that we can support you in securing the housing assignment that you are interested in. We ask for the best possible experience, that we follow all the processes accurately, read all instructions carefully, review the application, look at our videos online, adhere to all stated deadlines to ensure that you have a smooth process through the housing system as you make application for the fall of 2026. Just want to give you a bit of information about our housing here. I'm not sure if many people realize that Morgan is one of those rare institutions that houses about 46% of their undergraduate population. Just as a point, North Carolina A&T houses about 28%, Bowie State about 28%, and the University of Maryland about 39%. As we are in our phase of new construction and renovations, currently this is our housing capacity on campus. We have 2,513 spaces, off campus 2,965, for a total capacity of 5,478. For the fall of 2027, as I stated, with our new construction, O'Connell Hall will come back online, and then our housing capacity will be around 6,114 spaces. As I mentioned, our new construction and renovation is placing Morgan's housing at the top tier of any institution in the country. I'd like to announce that Baldwin Hall for the fall of 2026 will be males. We have experienced an incredible growth in male attendance here at Morgan State University, and we are meeting that demand for those who are returning and for those who are interested in coming to Morgan State University. Success in this whole process starts with preparation, timing, budget, and proper completion. Preparation, we suggest that you go to the website, view all the instructions and the information that we have provided, look at all the videos, and prepare to select your housing assignment. Look at the buildings, look at the floor plans. Again, timing is important. First come, first serve in terms of the system, because the system time and date stamps every application based upon the day and the time the application was submitted. I suggest that you look at your budget, cover the cost of tuition fees, room and board. That is very important. Some of our housing options are more expensive than others. And so we suggest that you look at your budget and make a decision in terms of how and what your housing is going to look like. Proper completion. Proper completion is looking at all of the steps that we have provided, the informational steps we have provided, to ensure that you follow the process once you're in the application for a smooth process all the way through. Again, here what is important is that you hit the red finish button after you have made payment. For the fall of 2026, as I talked about some of the renovations, Harper Tubman House will be available, but however, not until mid-November. So to accommodate this delay in the construction, we will be partnering with the Lord Baltimore Hotel, and we will be moving our returning students. So this is the option only for returning students from the Lord Baltimore Hotel to their selected assignments in Harper Tubman on or about November 13th through the 15th. Just some of the amenities that we've been able to have for you there in the Lord Baltimore Hotel is a reduced meal plan, double occupancy rooms, in-room bath. We will provide transportation. There are laundry rooms in the hotel, as well as you can secure laundry service for a fee if you want someone to do your laundry. Again, transition to Harper Tubman House will begin mid-November, the 13th through the 15th, 2026. And again, this option is only for returning students. So for returning students, when you go into a system, you will see an option that says HT Harper Tubman / LBH Lower Baltimore Hotel. If you make this selection, you're agreeing to residing in the Lower Baltimore Hotel for the fall of 2026 up until November the 13th and through the 15th. We'll be moving our students out of the Lower Baltimore Hotel into their selected assignments in Harper Tubman. Our housing process literally is 4 steps. 4 steps to completion. I'll start with the housing application launch. Then it moves to self-selection. And again, self-selection is based upon the date and time of the application submission. Check-in notification. Must be full-time registered and have made satisfactory financial arrangements with the bursar. And then finally, check-in and arrival. So what I'll do now is I'll break these down into its various components of the 4 steps to success for your application submission. So starting with housing application, the launch, there's our Morgan State University web address, morgan.edu, residence life. Review the Let's Get Started video. Again, this is the preparation. Review the how to apply, which is step 1 in the information section on our website, and then follow all instructions. And again, do not forget to hit the red payment button. Self-selection, which is a very important step in this process, is when you will decide, based upon availability, what spaces you are interested in. Please, once you receive via your Morgan State University email address your self-selection opportunity, please follow the instructions carefully. Again, I suggest that you review the self-selection video, review the self-selection process information, which is step 2. Check your MSU email for selection day and time. Again, we will only communicate via your Morgan State University email address. Once you enter the system, those spaces that you see are those that are available to you. It's based on classification, gender, and some special building formations that we have. And so once you're in the system, whatever is there is what you're eligible to select from. So if you don't see a particular building or space that you're interested in, it likely means that someone who submitted the application before you made that selection. Additionally, some of our residential facilities have academic requirements, GPA requirements, and if you don't see it, you may not meet that currently may not meet that criteria. Check-in notification. To receive your check-in notification, again, you must be full-time registered, 12 credits, which is number 3 on our information on our website. Satisfactory financial arrangements, which is step number 3 on our website information. And for those returning and new students who select Legacy or Thurgood Marshall Hall, you have to complete the licensing agreement once it is sent to you. We will not send to you your day and time for check-in until we see that we have received that document from you. Again, those students who are selecting Legacy Hall and Thurgood Marshall Hall must complete the licensing agreement before we will send you your notification of your check-in day and time. Again, spaces are very limited for upper class students as we look to house all of our incoming class for 2030 first. Again, follow all instructions completely. The final step is your housing application process, your check-in and arrival. Receive your check-in notification. How do you do this? Must arrive for check-in during designated day and time. which is step number 4 on our information page, must complete the licensing agreement, again for those in Legacy and Thurgood, and then please follow the instructional maps and directions that we will provide for you for your check-in. Again, follow all instructions completely. Again, these are the 4 steps to follow as it relates to submission of your application and receiving your housing assignment. Remember that we will communicate with you via our website, MSU email, which is the only email that we will use, your Morgan State University email account, social media, our parent portal, videos, presentations, mailings, flutter flags, and also flyers that we'll provide throughout the campus, as well as posting them via social media. I just want to give some talk about the waitlist process. Again, it is fairly simple should we reach this point. Our preferred facilities, because we have levels of partnership with each of these facilities, are the Altus, 9 East, and the Social. When you get into the whole waitlist process, you'll see these facilities posted on our website with links. The Altus as well as 9 East have currently provided for us direct links for Morgan State University to their website for processing and information that you will need in terms of a direct lease or direct rent from that property. You remember, if you select these facilities from the wait list or decide that that's where you want to go, you're directly leasing from that property with a rental payment due every month. It is not affiliated with the university account. We don't transfer any funds or anything. It is a direct lease. So the waitlist application will be posted at our website. You'll be notified by your MSU email account to participate in self-selection. You must be full-time registered to receive self-selection notification. If you are not full-time registered, we will move to the next student. So if you're on the wait list and your opportunity comes up for self-selection in a space, if we see that you are not full-time registered, we will move on to the next student. Once you have made your housing selection, you have 5 business days to financially clear in order to receive your check-in notification. 5 business days. If you do not financially clear in the 5 business days, unfortunately, you will lose your housing selection and we will move on. If you are not full-time registered on the wait list or skipped because you haven't made the 5-day deadline, have not cleared financially within the 5 days, you will be deactivated in the housing system. In order to get back on the wait list, you must then enter the housing portal and click on the waitlist view link in order to reactivate yourself and receive a new position number. You can always check your position number by going back into the system through your authentication, your credentials, and view the waitlist position. What to know? Returning students will select building and residential space. Once you enter the self-selection, you will select building and residential space. You must be full-time registered and make satisfactory financial arrangements by the established deadline, or you will lose your selected assignment. Please make 4 different selections for your preferences. This is very important. When you're in the housing application process, we ask for 4 preferences that you might have for housing. It's important that you make 4 different preferences. We use these preferences for this purpose and this purpose only. Should you enter self-selection and do not make a selection, we will then go back to the 4 preferences, different preferences that you have provided, and try to best match with where you may want to reside. You must complete the licensing agreement, again, Thurgood and Legacy students, before your check-in notification will be sent. And again, for upper class students, Harper Tubman and the Lower Baltimore Hotel for the fall of 2026, with a transition to Harper Tubman from the Lower Baltimore Hotel starting around November the 13th. New and transfer students, you will select the building. You will only select your building that you would like to reside in. You must be, again, full-time registered and make satisfactory financial arrangements by the established deadline, or you will lose your selected assignment. Please make 4 different selections again for your preferences. This is very important. You must complete the licensing agreement, again, for those selecting Legacy and Thurgood Marshall, before you will be sent your notification. For our new students only, as it relates to the COSTA program and the new student orientation program, you must be registered for the program fully, and you must have paid for the program before you will be given access to the housing portal to make your housing selection. Again, COSTA students and new student orientation, you must be full-time registered for the program, as well as made full payment to participate in those programs. Challenges that would hinder a smooth housing process. Email. Again, we will only correspond through your Morgan State University email. Please, it is important that you hit the red finish button after you have made payment. Your application is not fully submitted until you hit that red finish button. Again, self-selection, please do not miss your self-selection day. Be looking for, in your Morgan State University email. We are projected to start self-selection at some point in March. Again, you must be full-time registered and make satisfactory financial arrangements. Again, the licensing agreement for those in Thurgood and Legacy. New student orientation and COSTA, as we spoke, you must be fully registered for the program as well as fully paid. It is important that you follow all deadlines. Again, about preferences, please select 4 different preferences, as we will use these preferences should you enter the selection portal but do not make a selection. We will try to match you with whatever assignment that we have that best matches one of your 4 different preference selections. And again, it's important to deactivate your pop-up blocker when you enter the process to begin your application, particularly as it relates to the payment portal. I'll go over to a couple of the frequently asked questions. Can I select a roommate? Unfortunately, that is not a possibility because of different timings that students apply, students pay, the clearance process. All these things kind of, they generally do not line up at the same time. However, in terms of selecting, there is one opportunity and one opportunity only, and that is if you and the selected roommate are there together at the same time. You go into the selection portal, you see room 102, you see 2 spaces in room 102. You select A and your selected roommate selects B, then that is the greatest way to get a match in terms of a roommate selection. Again, it's based upon date and time of submission of your application. Can I submit my housing application without the application fee? Unfortunately, you cannot. Can I re-enter self-selection? The process is fluid, and we're continually moving on to get through the number of students who will be applying for housing. Can I bring my pet? Unfortunately, pets are not allowed on campus. Should you be seeking to bring an emotional support animal, it is important that you go to the Student Disability and Support Services website and follow those instructions. And they will then guide you to my office where there's some paperwork and things that need to be completed before you bring your ESA to campus. Again, all of this information is on our website. I'm of the LGBTQIA plus community. What are my housing options? For our students, we prefer to talk with you, discuss with you to make sure that we can work with you to provide the best housing assignment that's going to meet your needs as you matriculate here at Morgan State University. Can I pay for my housing and tuition separately? Unfortunately, it is tuition, fees, room and board, and it cannot be divided up. Who is my assigned roommate? We do not provide this information. Again, it has always been a good thing to come to college and meet other people from all over the country, from all over the world, and build those kinds of friendships. Those are going to be your lasting friendships. Also, it's important that you prepare yourself for this new experience. Can I check in late? You can check in late. You just simply need to send an email to the Office of Residence Life and Housing with that request. However, those students who do not claim their rooms by the first day of classes will lose their rooms. So that's the only caveat as it relates to a late check-in. Can I use my personal email? Unfortunately, you cannot. It is only your Morgan State University email. Can I move in early? Unfortunately, our check-in process is very regimented. We follow a strict number of students that we're going to check in on the day, and so we just ask that either you make your selection for the first part of the day or the second part of the day and stick to those selection times. Can I change my meal plan? For those students who reside on campus proper, you're required to have the silver meal plan. You're required to have the silver meal plan. You cannot reduce that meal plan. However, you can increase it to a gold or a platinum if you choose. If I'm waitlisted, can I be moved up? Unfortunately, like our general selection process, it is based upon the date and time, and we do everything in order in all fairness. Can I get my $200 application feedback if I decide to cancel my housing? Unfortunately, it is a $200 non-refundable fee. Again, back to our preferences. Again, it's best to select 4 different preferences so that we can try to support you as best we can. Understand that this is not necessarily your assignment. These are just preferences. Parking. We have various parking options in our off-campus properties as we try to support our students as best we can. However, there are a limited number of parking spaces in our off-campus properties that charge for parking. On campus, we ask that you look at our beautiful campus and see all the construction and the cranes in the air, and unfortunately, parking is extremely, extremely limited. So you may want to consider whether to bring your vehicle to campus for your first year for our new students. How to contact us? We can be contacted at reslife@morgan.edu. This is how we prefer to communicate. We are aggressively making sure that we respond to all of our emails within 24 to 48 hours. And this is the best way to communicate with us so we can specifically see what your needs are and then provide you a direct answer. I thank you for choosing Morgan State University for your housing needs. Again, the Office of Residence Life and Housing and the Division of Student Affairs, we're here to support you. Please take advantage of all of our resources and options that we have here on campus to support your matriculation here at Morgan State University.